back. An exciting one because we're going to reveal the shows that I'll be doing this year, what federation, and we're also going to run you through a detailed arm session at the Dungeon Gym in Dubai. So we're taking you out of Venus and we're going to show you different gyms in Dubai because it's got some pretty cool gyms here. But a little update on myself, obviously 2 weeks now, where we head to Thailand next week for a little holiday. So we've got 7 days essentially left of the off season. We're going to do a full video covering the progress that I've made and how I've made that progress in this space of time. But obviously it kicked off in January and we sat at 94.5 on the scales, fasted this morning. The goal is 95, so a pound to find in the final week. And when I first committed back to bodybuilding this year, I was looking at the shows that I was going to look at and was going to do a couple of warm-up shows, heading like a PCA at a slightly lower amateur standard. But how the physique's progressed and come back to life, we're just going to go straight balls in NPC, IFBB Pro. And that brings the goals as well. Like obviously I said this year was data collection, it was picking shows and it was just seeing where I stand with the amateurs, and that still is the goal. But we're not going to quit this journey now till we turn pro. So it was always something that I wanted to achieve, and it's a goal now that I've written down, and when I write goals down, I action them and I tick them off. So in this video we'll reveal exactly the qualifier and the regional that I'll be doing. But before that, we're going to finish the pre-workout meal, which is 150 cream of rice, 150 blueberries, and 30 whey, and then we're going to show you how to train arms. So we've arrived at the best lighter gym in Dubai. The lighting's unreal. So we put this one in the to-do list when we're shredded. We're going to hit arms now and talk you through the session, most importantly. In terms of, I don't have a set arm day, but with a couple of weeks left, my chest come up, my back's come up, my delts, and my arms at the minute for me are still weak when I hit the shots that need to be effective. And yeah, given you don't really need a unreal set of arms in men's physique, but they want to still have that pop. So I've just increased training days to 6 at the minute, put arms in. We'll talk you through this session. To begin, we've got incline dumbbell curls. And what the focus point here is the alignment of the arm path. So you can do this unilaterally, and I've had a lot of success off unilateral movements, but we're going to do this dual today. So we'll get into it, but the key focus is essentially making sure the elbows remain fixed, and we're challenging it in the length and the short end because the biceps are fresh now. So that's how we set the arm day up. So we're going to get into that now. 3, 2, 1. Bro. Notice how throughout the full set the tension remains on, so it's not a case of you coming into the short and you come in short here and it's dropping off. The big emphasis is when the dumbbell is moving away from you in the eccentric, with any bicep movement, when the dumbbell or the cable is moving away from you in the eccentric position, what you want to make sure is that you're thinking about forcing your elbows to the floor, because by naturally forcing those elbows to the floor, it's going to keep the tension on. So do that now without any resistance. Look at the shake, because the tension is remaining on the biceps. So rather than just contracting, and that's where the tension's on, think about the eccentric and keeping and remaining that tension on within the fixed environment. So letting it really be controlled. Pause here, twist here. Big emphasis on the biceps at the minute. So take that cue and make sure you apply it. If you're not coming out of your bicep work in that much pain, you're not training your biceps right. The tension should be off from the start to the end, and it's not pretty. So 4 sets, straight sets, 8 to 12. Emphasis is controlling the movement throughout. It's not, if you watch the sets back, we're not swinging, we're not using any momentum. The bench and the incline essentially stabilizes the body. And then the emphasis is really having a pause in the lengthened and a pause in the shortened to maximize tension. The way I like to set my biceps and my triceps days up at the minute, and like I said, this is off program, is obliterate the biceps, wrap that up, obliterate the triceps. So we'll do 3 straight bicep exercises here. That's the first one, 4 sets of 8 to 12, and then 3 straight sets of triceps. Job done. Exercise 2, we're going for a single arm breech curl. And the reason for this is because the stability the pad gives you. So if you fix, essentially, your elbow path is going to determine where the tension is going to replace. So if you aim for like a 40 degree, essentially keep the elbow within a nice fixed position. You see a lot of people curved. You want essentially just nice and straight, arm nice and wide. Use this as a stability. Keep that tension fixed there, and you're challenging it here as much as you can in the shortened. So you want to get short and really contract and squeeze it. I'll put a bit more weight on that. These arms are growing. The set was a bit shit because if you looked, what I should have done is open my body up and put it into machine to control the arm path. But instead what I did is let the machine control me. So I was almost at the end of that set, I was almost like that, which is obviously what I told you not to do at the start. And I think a little bit of that was put a bit of emphasis on the load rather than the accuracy. So I'm going to give the left arm a try, see how that feels. I may just drop it a little bit. But sets, in terms of what we're looking for in this exercise, is 3 times 8 to 12. Tempo 3, second eccentric, 1 second pause, 2 second concentric. So I realised why my arm path's been dictated, and it's not because of the way I'm sat in the machine, it's actually this. So if you do dual, it's much better. Whereas if you're trying to put an emphasis on a unilateral, look at that. So a better option would have been a cable. But we're going to do the cable next because essentially with the way we approach a cable, it's to tax it in the lengthened position, because by this point, getting your bicep short is a little bit more of a challenge as you get to the final movement. But yeah, it's just a machine. So you can tell now that the biceps are starting to fade because I'm all good in the lengthened position, but as I'm getting further through the set now, it's becoming increasingly more difficult to get short. So the next movement to finish your biceps on is such a good movement. We'll move on to that, but a key teaching point with biceps is you've got the ability now with that much kit in a gym environment to essentially get it to suit you. Like for this now, if I was to use this next week, I would do it dual. Or alternatively, what I'd do is move to a single arm cable curl, because for me it's about maximising the mind to muscle connection and training accurate. So if your coach has got something in your plan and you're thinking, I don't really connect with this, especially such as biceps and triceps, which are smaller muscles, harder to get blood flow towards them, you want to be thinking, right, okay, if I don't feel this movement, don't be scared to take it out or try something new. Because the reason I've had so much success this year with building muscle is because I've trained to feel and I've trained accurate. If I've had something in my plan I've not felt, I've tried something else. And of course, training out of one of the best gyms in the world, you have the ability to do that. But just think outside of the box. Make sure you apply it between your training. with that, for me now, if I revisit this gym, I won't put this machine in. I think it's a great preach curl, but only as a dual. Again, it took me over to that side of the machine, and just limiting my ability to get the bicep short. And the key focus with your bicep work as well is to completely ruin them in the short and in the lengthen, and that's how you want to structure your bicep programming. So this is why we've set it up exactly like we have today. But you just want to try and be as accurate as you physically possibly can with each rep, so you can see the quality of my lifts from rep 1 to the final rep within the set. The tempo remains the same, and this is a common theme that I'm talking around often in my videos, because if you take anything away from my content, it's train accurate, train with intensity, and keep your composure, because if you do that, you're going to build an amazing physique. If you come into the gym and just showing up, the answer's there. I'm going for dual. See how it is with dual. You're stronger than me. How many reps did you get? I got 8. That's heavy, that. 35 kilogram. But dual is a lot better in it. I just did it both hands, and the connection was on from the start, but just a bit harder to get shorter, but I think that was the load. It's a final bicep movement. Cable, I call it a cable drag. And the reason I call it a cable drag is you're literally dragging the cable with your bicep. You're not curling it. So we're going to move on to there. We'll talk through it because it's quite a big movement. And the reason we position it last is because my ability now to get my bicep short is pretty taxed. So we put that last. Completely abolishes your bicep in the short and in the lengthened. And then we move on to triceps. See there, I wasn't struggling to get short because that's not the focus of the exercise. Obviously what we're trying to do here is a slight shoulder extension, and essentially arm path is perfectly aligned. So you see often people will come up with a low cable curl with a D handle, and they come up all good, and then they come, elbows have shifted. The objective here is not to get the bicep fully short, because we've done that with the other 2 exercises. The objective here is to completely tax the bicep in the lengthened. So the movement, slight shoulder extension, the movement is there, all the way back there. Look at the tricep, it's switched on, yeah? Then back up. You're not, because that's when the elbows are moving, and essentially that's not the goal here. The goal is completely obliterate the biceps. Biceps polished off. We're going to give you a physique update today as well. Peak off season, not hiding away from anything. We're going to show you what an extra 14-15 kilogram looks on my frame, because this is probably the sloppiest I'm going to get in terms of body composition. So from this point really, in 7 days, 14 days, we'll drop to maintenance. That naturally with my body will improve body composition. So we'll do a little bit of posing today, and then we'll give you the real reveal of the shows that I'm going to be doing. So all you men's physique guys can avoid him, because you're going to get smoked. First tricep exercise. If this is not in your plan, this is something I've put in more recently. Get this in your plan. Single arm pull down, D handle on the cable, elbow fixed and locked back. No momentum, no swinging. Literally find yourself in a fixed position, that core nice and tight, feet planted, and it's just that bump. Triceps on from the minute you switch it on, literally as you get into the contracted state. But a lot of people again will come in, they'll contract, and then it's, yeah, tempo needs to be consistent. Keep that eccentric, 3 to 4 seconds, pause in either side of the ranges. Go to tricep movement a minute, get it in your plan. 3 sets, 8 to 12. Exercise 1. You'll notice throughout this session a lot of it's unilateral work, and the reason behind that is because I struggle to grow my arms. So when I do dual, I just lose that connection slightly, or I feel it more in my left than my arm than my right. So what you've got to think about is what works for you in your training. I'm not going to sit and do unilateral dumbbell press because I connect with my chest superbly well. But if you don't, that might be something you need to look at. My biceps and triceps need a lot of work, so I've stripped it back to basics. I've not focused on the load, I've focused on the intent, the accuracy. And here we are. Every exercise is basically unilateral, unless I can connect superbly well with that exercise, which in most cases I can't. So it doesn't mean you need to watch this video and do everything unilateral, even though it's a lot better. You can connect, you can isolate a lot more. But you've got to think, don't just follow the trend of what your favorite influencer's doing, or if you see a big YouTuber saying these are 3 bicep movements you need to do, odds are it's a clickbait title just to get you to watch a video. Mind to muscle connection is a key driver, and you're gonna connect better with movements that you feel. So if you come in and you do unilateral work and prefer it to dual, keep it in. That's what I've done. I've not copied anyone. I've gone for what works for me, and that's what you need to do within your training. Of course, with knowledge-based practice and applying that, but everything is mind to muscle. If there's no mind to muscle connection, you've got to think about that. And another tip with this movement is you're not bringing it into your body, you're pushing it directly straight in front of you. Remember that, to get your tricep short, you're not, everything's drag with your biceps. Don't think about pulling, think about dragging it. Likewise with your tricep, dragging your elbow to the floor. Think about that the next time you train arms and watch the difference in the connection. Set 3. And then we move on to exercise 2. I'm not sure what that is, I need to have a look. But again, I pretend I was going to say something valuable, but my head were actually focused on the set, so let's just fucking do it. One mission, and that's to have big calf croissants. Literally, there's nothing there now. Is anything there? One's shredded. Remember, we're growing into this show, so if you know what that means, I'm going to get bigger and get leaner. So hopefully we see the croissants. This side's better. Look at the croissant on this side. Yeah, great start. Exercise 2. Exercise 2, triceps. 2 single ropes. Why? Ability to get shorter increases. So obviously trying to challenge within the shortened environment here. The focus point here is you don't want too much shoulder involvement. So you see a lot of people's shoulders lock forward, tensions off the triceps. Take your shoulders completely out, retract, and then essentially the elbow's locked and fixed like you're trying to hit a row. Yeah, so you're locking it back, slight, chest forward, and the emphasis here is keeping that shoulder fixed as you get short, and then flick your wrist. By doing that, the tension's completely on the tricep. If you get into this position as you get short, you allow that shoulder to come in. Look at the tension dropping off. Shoulders fixed, in, tension's on from the start right to the end.
Key teaching point that within the tricep movements. Always flick the wrist as well. Get that tricep fully short. I had shit triceps for so long, still have, but I'm getting better. Three straight sets of this. So the rep range, I believe, is 8 to 12. I'll tell you in 1 second. 8 to 12. So typically with an 8 to 12 set, how I approach that is same load. First set, trying it 12. Second set, you're going to lose 5%. Then again, third, literally hitting the bottom end of the rep range. It's a common question I get asked of clients, like, what weight should I do? If you give a client like 1 times 6 to 10, common question you get as a coach is, what weight should I do? Only you will know the answer to that. First, get used to the movements. If you get a new training program from a coach, set your baseline numbers. Get them written down. Week 2, increase your intensity, leave 1 rep in reserve. First week, leave 2 or 3 reps in reserve. Second week, 1 rep in reserve. Third week, you've got your numbers, you've got your data. Go and send it in the gym. Too many people complicate this shit. Mind to muscle connection, track your numbers, apply progressive overload, be consistent. You're going to get big. But more to detail and more to the reason of what I'm saying, go into the gym and pick a load that's going to challenge you and that you can feel, and then aim to progress on that. Couple of partials at the end there. When you train on your own and no one's there to give you a spot, partials are always very, very beneficial. So I just hit a couple of partials there, completely fry the tricep. Final exercise of the day. Let's get it. Which one is it? Final exercise, cable crossbody. For me, get yourself a pair of cuffs, 1MR, Bridgman's brand. Hands in and grip the cuff, yeah? Pull that to this side. Repeat that on the next cuff. It's a much more stable hand position than grabbing the balls, which absolutely fucking kill your hands. So literally again, elbows always locked back, slight tilt forward. Oh, yes. It's a hard movement to do last because my triceps are already fatigued, so to get them short, it's challenging. So maybe have a look at the programming for next time we hit arms. But again, sets on this, nice and simple. 3 sets, 8 to 12 again. Nice. Oh yeah, triceps are fucking ruined. Is that 3 sets or 2? Oh, got 1 more. Drop the weight a little bit, 10-20% on the final one. Triceps are ruined. That's a wrap. Biceps, triceps, boxed off. Big weakness. So the big emphasis at the minute is to bring them up, because when you're posing within the men's physique division, you essentially need that shot there. So it's almost like that shot. They need to pop. So you can see the popping now. That's quite a strong shot now. But as I get leaner and body fat comes off, it may get a little bit weaker. So if we can maximise that, we've grown a lot in this area, all little proportions grown, so the waist will come in, the front will only look better. But of course the competitions and what I'm doing, we're going to show you some posing, show you the physique, and then we're going to tell you about the competitions that we're doing.
I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground then it go off, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground then it go off, yeah.
Don't need to put it on. Post workout meal. We've got, this is the best thing about Dubai. Wherever you go, whatever gym you go to, they've got meal prep. And obviously I'm looking for like probably 600 calories for this meal. I'm 50 gram of carb down, so I'll find that later in the day, but we've got some creamy chicken pasta. But that's the session wrapped up. Now let's get to the good part, which is the competitions. Also, before we get onto that, pink Himalayan salt. This is how you know Dubai is centralised around fitness. They've got low-fat sauces, they've got meal prep, they've got pink Himalayan salt, they've got everything. So we'll let this cool down and we'll get into the competitions. So, and again, the roadmap can change, but this is what it's looking like. So we have, as I said, a week left of the off season. I'm gonna head to Thailand just to cap off the month and just relax and recharge. It's been like 5 big months for business and for physique development with very little downtime. And then we're going to do a holding phase throughout June. So that's going to be holding / maintenance. So we don't just simply come out of peak off season into a dieting phase, because we need to secure the new tissue. So hopefully we'll hold and secure that 95, drop food down, drop a bit of GI stress. Generally get a little bit more energy back. I won't be digesting so much food, so thermic effect of food. I'll feel a lot better day to day. No doubt productivity in the gym will go up, and then July the fun begins. So we booked a month in Bali. Yeah, a month in Bali to kick prep off. So I want to be in the most chilled environment to start prep. So we've booked a beautiful villa. Obviously we've got Max coming, so we're going to be documenting prep. We're going to be living together, so that's going to kick off in Bali on the 1st of July. And then the second leg of prep, which is going to be August, yet to be confirmed, but we're thinking 4 weeks then in Dubai. And then we will finish prep September, probably 2 of those weeks in Dubai. Again, it's going to be really hot, but I'm just going to be like robot mode, just fully like in the groove of things. So I think Dubai will work really well for me. And then the final 2 weeks in the UK. We've got a couple of client shows a few weeks before mine in the UK, so I'll be flying back for that. And the show that I'm doing is, so as I said, it was a flip up between whether we was going to test the waters in the PCA, but we rolled against that because I thought realistically, like I've earned my stripes in this game. I've won PCAs. I'm not coming back to win a PCA. I'm coming back to turn pro. So as confident as that sounds, I know I've got the flow, I know I've got the physique, I know I've got the genetics. So the show that we're doing is, where is that? The Ray Strict Royal Rumble, 30th of September. So if you want to go toe to toe, jump in that. The goal is there to win that, so win the class. I want to win the overall, and we'll then do the British Championships, which is the 14th of October. So why am I doing those shows? The reason is because that's the biggest amateur show probably in the UK. So if I'm going to turn pro, let's stand against the best amateurs and let's see how I fare. If I get smoked, I get smoked. I know I won't, but if I do, I know where I need to improve. If I win, I win. I know I'm rumbling with the big boys, and I'm worthy of coming for that pro card in the British finals. The true goals: win my class at the Ray Strict Royal Rumble, win the overall. I'd take top 3 at the pro qualifier for the comeback season, and then I'd head into another off season, and then 2024 take a pro card. That's the dream. I've put everything into this now. Posing, I've invested every month. I've been practiced after every session. I've gone from being stiff to actually having routines, understanding the mandatories. So for me now, it's about, I'm not going to do this just to half-arse it. I'm going to do this now to turn pro. So this is the first video where you're going to really see that transition from peak off season to prep. So strap the fuck in.